Well, there has been a lot of talk about UFOs, most recently in Stephenville.
In fact, many of you have not been shy about telling us your UFO experiences. But there is one sighting in the United States that few even know about, even predating the famous Roswell incident. This one is perhaps one of the most mysterious stories of a UFO, and an East Texas woman relays a first-hand account. Tonight in this KLTV7 exclusive, we share the rarely told story of what happened one spring night almost 7 decades ago.
I was not a big UFO person, didn't know much about it other than my own experience.
Sitting in her Tyler home, Charlotte Mann tells us about her experience, which she calls the family secret, many of the details discovered on her grandparents' deathbed. It was April 1941 in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Around 9:30 p.m., Charlotte's grandfather, Reverend William Huffman, got a call about a plane crash and was asked to help.
When they got out there, it wasn't a crashed plane at all. It was a saucer, is how they described it.
According to the story, 3 alien bodies lie on the ground next to the spaceship, 2 already dead.
However, Granddad said the third one, when he got to him, was breathing very shallow. And so he did pray with him. He expired as he was on his knees praying for him. And he then went to the other 2 and also prayed over them.
Her grandfather then took a closer look at the spaceship.
What he was most impressed by was on the inside. There were writings, but he did not recognize it. It looked similar, he said, to hieroglyphics, the Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Quickly, the scene was covered with military personnel, and Reverend Huffman was sworn to secrecy.
He was told, this did not happen, you did not see this, this is enormous national security, and you're not ever to speak of it again.
But the enormity of what he had witnessed was too much for a man. The shock on his face told what his words at first did not. Then, after gaining their promise, he shared with his family what had happened.
Granddad was a quiet man to begin with, but he was just, the look on his face, Grandmother said, was different.
A few weeks after the UFO crash in Missouri, Reverend Huffman was given a picture that was taken that night by a local photographer.
And he felt like someone else besides himself should have a copy, and Granddad was the only one he trusted. So he gave him a copy of the picture. And so I had seen that picture all growing up. You couldn't see those eyes and not be affected. It wasn't anything I had ever seen.
Seeing that picture and knowing the integrity of her grandfather, Charlotte believes the story is true, but never had any proof until a few years ago while doing research for a documentary on the crash.
We got validation of it by going to the archives in Washington, D.C. The White Hot page that was top secret, and you can see the discovery in 1941. To see a top secret declassified document that stated a crash retrieval in 1941, for me, I have not forgotten holding that paper in my hand and realizing that my family story was real, was solid, and that just, for me, was an answer to a long-time question.
But Charlotte knows some will still be skeptical.
That's okay with me. I don't have to convince anybody. I just have to know what's true for me. But again, I think it's arrogant to think that a God that we have that is so awesome created just us. I don't know that we have to worry about a huge threat from them, because if that were their intention, that would have happened a long time ago.
Charlotte's story is one of many involving UFOs, and she's quick to point out it won't be the last, saying the next extraterrestrial visit is not far away.
I just think we're going to see more of it. I think Stephenville is just the beginning of it happening everywhere. I think that there are things that we will always not be aware of, but we should always keep an open mind for possibilities.
To this day, the UFO crash of 1941 in Missouri continues to be researched and investigated. So far, the story has been included in 2 books and 1 documentary. As for the recreated picture in our story that you just saw, the real picture went missing years ago after Charlotte's father loaned it to a friend who never returned it.